to you by Fumbisayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority.
It is exactly 10 in the studios of UBC TV. Hello there and welcome to our News Tonight, this being the second and final edition here on UBC TV. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. President Museveni eulogizes General Elly Tumwiine. Premier Nabanja unveils refugee energy program. Court convicts 2 over killing 6 lions in Queen Elizabeth National Park. And Tumwiine Fruit Wine Company closed as 17 succumbed to death after taking poisonous gin. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. My name is Edward Kiijanangoma. And we begin this bulletin with some rather sad news, and it is a message from President Yoweri Museveni, and it's about the demise of General Elly Tumwiine. It says, countrymen and countrywomen, especially the NRA UPDF fraternity, with deep sorrow, I announce the death of General Elly Tumwiine, which occurred at 5:46 a.m. this morning in Nairobi, Kenya, from lung cancer. According to his widow, with whom I have just talked to on telephone, General Tumwiine was now 68 years old. I had taught him at Burunga Primary School in 1967 after our A-levels as a student teacher before going to university later that year. He joined FRONASA with 9,000 others in 1979, who went to Monduli Military School in Tanzania and was the one who fired the first shot on the 6th of February 1981 at Kabamba at the beginning of the 1981-1986 War of Resistance. Since that time, General Tumwiine has been part of the leadership of the NRA UPDF, as well as serving the government in various capacities. Those capacities included being Army Commander, member of the High Command, Director General Intelligence, Minister of Security, and many others. He has been a dedicated and hard-working cadre, and more will be said about him later. Condolences to his family, to the NRA, UPDF, NRM fraternity, and to all Ugandans. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Now, members of Parliament have eulogized the late General Elly Tumwiine, who passed away in Nairobi. General Tumwiine is remembered as a long-serving member of Parliament who represented the UPDF with the utmost honesty. Tumwiine, who envisaged a Uganda with total freedom and peace, remains a celebrated member of Parliament, as we hear in this story.
Jim Kamuntu recalls the moment in 1979 when he and the late General Elly Tumwiine would paint the town red after surviving the regime of murder and terror presided by the late President Idi Amin.
And he was a young man recruited under FRONASA, and when we were mobilizing the population to accept, to welcome, to embrace what we called Moshi spirit, the spirit of oneness, the spirit of patriotism.
Kamuntu, also a former Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, describes General Elly Tumwiine as an old friend who emerged from the Uganda Liberation Front to join the army and fight for the freedom of Ugandans.
Elly was an accomplished gentleman, the bull, a breeding bull in my crowd, of historical long-horned cattle of Ankole, especially the category of cattle that were left by the Bachwezi. That bull is rare. and is in my cows, a breeding bull from Elly Tumwiine, who gave it to me.
General Elly Tumwiine is among the celebrated long-serving members of Parliament representing the army since 1986. His prominent one eye defines a legacy as rich as honesty, as explained by members of Parliament.
And at one time I remember I had even wanted to take on the title of the father of the house, just as you know, as a practice in the Commonwealth countries, even in the House of Commons.
He envisaged, in my opinion, a free society where civilian authority reigns supreme. The role of the military is to protect the territorial borders, and I am confident that by the time of his demise, he had achieved his dreams.
We will continue to remember him as a person who was committed for the true liberation of our country, non-compromising, and a person who has dedicated all his life to see that our country is free from the forces of colonialism.
General Tumwiine's character of openness and straight to the point is also a point worth noticed.
He formed an association called Vakuka Anti-Corruption Campaign Africa. So he wanted to champion the fight against corruption in the entire Africa.
The fallen general is among the members of the High Command, whose names are cemented in the UPDF Act, a move which to a section of the public finds wanting.
One of those people was Elly Tumwiine. He's now dead. Tadeo Kanyankole is dead. Fred Rweje Magesa is dead.
General Tumwiine died in Nairobi Aga Khan Hospital on Thursday, 25th August 2022. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Now, the former Army Commander and Security Minister General Elly Tumwiine is dead. The shocking news was announced by President Yoweri Museveni via his official Twitter account. In this report, though, we are going to have a feel of the FRONASA soldiers, including one of the deceased trainers during the protracted struggle of the NRA.
And first of all, whatever.
Mukasa Yahaya is one among many who, having been frustrated by Idi Amin Dada's regime, chose to join Museveni in the struggle to oust the dictator. At the age of 14, retired Sergeant Yahaya, by then a student at Mbale SS, lost two of his friends who had turned a threat to Amin soldiers.
And I had my friend who was called Tom Namirundu and Masaba. So when Amin saw this boy becoming sharp, he thought that he's supporting who? Museveni. The man picked those boys and took them to the firing squad. After putting them to the firing squad, they started to look at me.
This pushed him to join the army in order to avenge his friend's death.
Because they killed my friends.
Yahaya, a former soldier in FRONASA, he dressed in all yellow attire with a brand on his left side shirt reading Kagera War 1979, boasts of having trained commandos. This is the man who trained the foster general Elly Tumwiine, who joined FRONASA in 1979 with 9,000 others.
So for me, I was the instructor who just remove you the civilian life to put you into military military life. So I was important more than that one who is on the front, because you cannot have a gun, or you cannot know how to shoot a gun without training. So someone who trains you that the gun you handle like this and you shoot like this, you can fix the bullets like this. So that one is the important person.
Tumwiine trained in Monduli Military School in Tanzania.
Our inspiration, especially mine, was the indiscipline of the force of the UNRA that we were part of. As officers who are trained in Monduli in 1979 after defeating Idi Amin, I was among the first officers to commission including General Katumba Wamala, General Elly Tumwiine, and others. So we thought we would have a disciplined army. My first posting was in Good, for example.
General Elly Tumwiine fired the first shot that sparked the fire exchange at Kabamba at the beginning of the 1981-1986 War of Resistance. Retired Sergeant Yahaya recalls this trajectory.
So when he was trying to go to the Amra, the guards, those who was on the Amra, they wanted to shoot them because the vehicle passed through. The vehicle didn't stop the quarter guard. When he didn't stop the quarter guard, and those people, they knew that, oh, this may be the rebel, and he told them that we have brought for you food. So the food was a bullet immediately. So that is when he started to fire, because he knew that if he doesn't fire him, he's going to be killed. And in the army, there is some word we use, that muwai kabla hajakuwai. It means shoot him faster unless him to shoot you.
There are other soldiers who are part of the struggle.
Nengenda nga batutwala emisinde gyotabalaki mulinzi Kabende yanyamba nnyo kubanga baali bansuula nanga temusobola kusuula nsanga ne banteeka ku kitanda kyali kyakomerera bakikola ne mu nnyumba ne bateeka ku kitanda kyakomerera kubanga bankuba essasi okubawo otunulawo toyagala nakoddayo kutunula ntuuka mu kampu ne bansalako ebikola byali bisensebusebu kyali byakiro ne gukya sawa z'okuba Kabamba nezituuka. Kati muzeeyi naye n'ajja kennyini n'atweyungako mu looli. Kati aba atambula bw'ati nandamu. N'antunulira n'anyenya omutwe n'agamba lakini nani alieta huyu? Ate kolaba muzeeyi ng'ayogedde Oluswayiri omanta akoze ki? Anyize. Kakati bali bena bagambye nti olaba ono omwana Fred n'agamba omanya Fred muzeeyi nafe ono omwana twamusanze busanze emotoka emaze okusimbula. Naye ate Fred ng'agezako okugamba Fred President nti omwana muve kutusemberera ku tagadi ya Kabamba. Ekyagenda okuddirira essasi lya General Tumwiine. Kati ngenda okulaba batandise okudduka bafuluma abo bali mu meeting bamanyi buli omu kyalina okukola. Angazi sina kimanyi. So nze nasigala mu konteyina mpulira ebintu bigwatuka kati omutima nga bagenda kujja bakusange mu loole muno. Nengezaako okufuluma niyingize kakati olw'okukyankalana n'abaana abange bavanda Julius nga sibateekera.
General Elly Tumwiine has died at the age of 68 from lung cancer in Nairobi, Kenya. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Now, after years of liberation struggles and national service, the name General Elly Tumwiine will go in the books of history as one that saw it all. Tumwiine will be remembered for his national roles in the UPDF as an army commander and Uganda's Minister for Security. But away from that, what is it that Uganda and indeed the world will miss about him? The following is a profile of the late general.
Bless our friends, soldiers of our respect, and we shall go to fight until Uganda is free.
General Elly Tumwiine, born 12 April 1954, was a Ugandan professional artist, educator, and military officer. He was a former commander of the Army UPDF, the highest military position in the country. At the time of his death, General Elly Tumwiine was one of the highest-ranking members of the Ugandan military. He attended Burunga Primary School, Mbarara High School, and St. Henry's College, Itovu, before joining Makerere University. In 1977, he graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Arts in Fine Arts, together with a diploma in education. He subsequently graduated from the Cadet Officers course at the Tanzania Military Academy at Moduli. He also attended the Senior Command course at the Uganda Senior Command and Staff College Chimaka in Jinja, Uganda, being a member of the pioneer class that graduated in 2005. A born-again Christian, General Elly Tumwiine also held further military qualifications from the Military Academy in Vestry in the former Soviet Union. In 1978, he interrupted his teaching career to join the FRONASA forces led by Yoweri Museveni to fight the Idi Amin regime. In 1981, when Museveni went to the bush to form the National Resistance Army NRA, Elly Tumwiine went with him. He is reported to have fired the first shot in the National Resistance Army War, which propelled the National Resistance Army and National Resistance Movement into power in Uganda in 1986. During the fighting between the NRA and the UNLA, Tumwiine sustained facial injuries that led to loss of sight in one eye. In 1984, Tumwiine was named Command of the Army, a position he served in from 1984 until 1987, when he was succeeded by General Salim Saleh. Over the years, he served in various positions, including Minister of State for Defense in 1989, Director General of the External Security Organization from 1994 until 1996, Presidential Advisor from 1996 until 1998, Chairman of the High Command Appeals Committee from 1986 until 1999. In September 2005, he was promoted to the rank of General in the UPDF and named to chair the UPDF General Court Martial. In other responsibilities, immediately after graduating from Makerere University in 1997, in 1977, Elly Tumwiine embarked on a teaching career in various schools in Uganda, teaching fine art. After the National Resistance Movement victory in 1986, he resumed his art. While serving as the command of the NRA, he designed the flag, the emblem, and the green and camouflage uniforms of the army. General Tumwiine was number 2 of 6 original members of the then NRA High Command as of January 26, 1986, according to the UPDF Act 2005. The others are President Museveni, his brother General Salim Saleh Akandwanaho, General David Nyefuza, now David Sejusa, late Eria Kategaya, and Brigadier Matayo Charlie Gonza. By the virtue of being a historical member of the High Command, General Tumwiine and 5 others are permanent members of the Defense Forces Council and High Command, both the Army's highest policy and decision-making organs. In that capacity, he attended the July High Command meeting at State House Entebbe recently, a former senior presidential advisor on security matters. General Tumwiine was among top generals lined up to retire.
To fight until Uganda is free.
And as you've heard in the biography, General Elly Tumwiine was already gainfully employed at the time of joining FRONASA forces to fight the dictatorial regime of President Idi Amin Dada. Now, to most contemporary thinkers, one would wonder why a young, fresh graduate at the time would decide to abandon an already secured job to opt to spend sleepless nights in the jungles with all risks involved in fighting a full-fledged military regime. Take a watch.
Jana walihamia msituni, walienda huko msituni kupigania demokrasi, kibonge cha nini? Jana walihamia msituni, walienda huko msituni kupigania wananchi. You see, that was like one song which explained why people had to go to the bush.
As Uganda continues to mourn General Elly Tumwiine, now the late, it should be remembered that the general has been advocating for education system in Uganda that should strive to enable the young generation studied Uganda's history in detail, with the major focus on where we came from to the current state and where we are going.
When I joined the FRONASA forces, that fought alongside the Tanzanian forces to remove Idi Amin. We studied the history of Uganda. You know, that's one unfortunate thing that young people don't do, or are not doing, or even our education system is not doing. We studied the history of the political history of Uganda, and that opened our eyes into knowing where Uganda was coming from and what the problem was and where we were. So at the end of the 79 war, that's how we ended up joining the army and joined UNLA and went for training. Some of us went for training in Tanzania, to do officer cadet. We were 300 of us. I can show you the terrible situation of Uganda. We are about 25 remaining of that group of the 300 who went for officer cadet training in Tanzania, in Monduli.
General Elly Tumwiine proudly says their generation played their part to lay a foundation stone for Uganda, advising the current generation to grab the available opportunities to advance themselves.
You see, for us, these are the young people whom we like very much. This is the best result. The young people are the best result of all our sacrifice, of all our endeavor, of all our efforts. We've never rested. All the challenges that have come, we are doing it for nobody else more than our children, than the young generation, which is, as I've said, is the best resource, is the best asset of our country, and which we would like now to guide, because they have lived in a relatively better and more comfortable environment than us. Most of them have not bothered. They have found things available, and they are just, and it has developed into some danger or some sort of dependency, expecting that the government will do everything for them, which is a very bad thing. Not knowing that each person, nobody owes you your living, you owe it yourself. You are the one who should look for opportunities which are available. My advice is, Uganda is a wonderful country by nature. Our beautiful country, our country, Uganda, of milk and honey, full of fresh water, fresh air, fauna and flora, full of sunshine, the power of Africa, which is part of my song.
General Tumwiine, whose public interviews with journalists were often accompanied by liberation songs, warns against any form of disruption that could affect the prevailing peace and security in Uganda.
Anything which disrupts security disrupts your future. Anything which disrupts the stability of the country disrupts your future. Anything which interrupts with the consistent, steady progress of the economy, of the capacity building, is affecting your future. So, support our efforts, join and participate, and I'm glad many young people have come now, even in leadership. Quite a number are not only members of parliament, they are ministers. Quite a number are now commanders of our armed forces and security forces. Quite a number are involved in the public service. Quite a number are already in all the different arms of government, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. Quite a number in the private sector. That's where actually the bigger employment opportunities are.
Joseph Oko, UBC.
Abogere, Uganda esonga mbere. Abogere, Uganda esonga mbere. Songa mbere. Move forward, move on. Uganda is moving forward. Mainly young people. You are the ones who should move forward, and we will support you. That's what we sacrificed.
Indeed, whatever disrupts security disrupts your future. One of the messages that the late General Elly Tumwiine gave to Ugandans, especially the youth. Now, government, through the Minister for Information, Communication Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, has condoled with the family of the late General Elly Tumwiine, who was pronounced dead this Thursday morning. According to Dr. Baryomunsi, the government of Uganda, family members and the UPDF are set to harmonize on how his body will be flown back to the country and burial arrangements.
General Elly Tumwiine, the immediate former Minister of Security and a high-ranking military officer who for many years has represented the army in the Parliament of Uganda, and we convey condolences to the family, to the President of Uganda, and the entire leadership of this country, the UPDF, and all Ugandans. General Tumwiine has been battling cancer, and in the last few weeks he was flown to Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi, where he has been treated, but unfortunately he succumbed to cancer earlier this morning. And we shall greatly miss him. He is a patriot, he has been a patriot, a statesman, a distinguished military officer who has made a great contribution in the development of this country. He was among those who joined the liberation struggle and went to the bush with President Yoweri Museveni and their comrades. He's remembered as the one who first shot the first bullet in Kabamba on the 6th of February 1981, starting off a military engagement with the government that resulted in the victory of NRM in 1986. And therefore, the stability, the peace that we enjoy in this country, the development that we have registered over the years, and generally the liberation of this country, the freedoms that we enjoy, we attribute all those achievements to all those great statesmen and women, including General Elly Tumwiine. We shall miss his distinguished service, and we pray that the good Lord comforts his family and rests his soul in peace. We are making arrangements as government together with the leadership of UPDF to bring back his body from Nairobi, and then we shall be communicating the funeral arrangements when the body shall arrive, when we shall have to pay tribute to him, and eventually when we shall lay him to rest. All the program is being worked out, and once it is completed, we shall communicate it to the public.
Now, the fallen General Elly Tumwiine has been lauded for raising the profile of artists in Uganda. He was a participating artist and a role model who took up leadership positions in the artists' associations. Now, the Vice Chairperson, National Arts and Cultural Crafts Association of Uganda, Noah Wamala Nyanzi, said the world will gain out of General Tumwiine's works, which will influence and inform coming generations.
The late General Elly Tumwiine was the patron of the Uganda Arts Association at its inception in 1989. While chairperson of Uganda National Cultural Center Board of Trustees, the fallen General Elly Tumwiine came up with an idea of putting art and craft structures at the National Theatre grounds.
So that's how he invited dealers and producers of the arts and crafts to come and construct structures here and pay a token to the National Theatre as a ground rate.
Vice Chairperson, National Arts and Cultural Crafts Association of Uganda, Noah Wamala Nyanzi, met the General at Nomo Gallery while he had gone to attend a meeting to try to get the association vibrant and relevant and for arts to be accepted in the mainstream. He remembers when the late General held his exhibition at the Nomo Gallery. To mark the day he lost one of his eye is when the gallery was threatened with extinction. National Housing Corporation was demanding the house.
He put up structures next to the main building now, which many people now say that he took over the normal gallery. I remember having my 18th year, in 2018, I had an exhibition at the normal gallery. They were wondering how I managed to have an exhibition at the normal gallery when General Tumwiine had taken it. Normal gallery as the space remains there, but he has structures where he operates from.
The art and craft industry will remember General Elly Tumwiine for raising a profile of artists and a role model for artists.
The profile of an artist. Remember, we didn't have role models, and we didn't have high-profile role models who would sit in a cabinet, who would sit in boardrooms and make decisions. Now you have a practicing artist who is the commander of the NRA. You have a minister of security who is a practicing artist. You have a member of parliament representing the army who is a practicing artist. So the profile of an artist was raised that way.
Nyanzi says the country is not only going to remember General Elly Tumwiine, but also gain from his works, hence requesting that the late's works be displayed to have the public consume and enjoy it.
He did not stop creating. He created up to the end, and his works will live on, and they will influence and inform future generations. What we have lost is a person, but what we gained are his works. If to honor General Elly Tumwiine, if his works, especially when it comes to the fabrics, with the Hima art, that's why he really had a lot of strength. If they could be reproduced and published widely, then that would be a good and befitting honor to the general.
Aliguma Ahabiona Asimwe, the communications coordinator across Culture Foundation of Uganda, attributed to the late as one who promoted culture of Uganda through dressing, also being passionate about music.
He was so interested in the bitenges, the traditional dressing. And for us at CCFU, we've tried to promote the traditional wares of our country, of Africa. So I think in that aspect, we've lost a great pillar. The great speakers we've had, even in the whole world, are those who reflect in their cultures. General Elly Tumwiine was particularly that, looking at the experiences that he had in the Bush War, but also the experiences that he had from his ethnicity. Elly Tumwiine was so passionate about music. He's someone who has actually encouraged the whole generation, I think, over the years.
General Elly Tumwiine succumbed to lung cancer in the wee hours of Thursday morning in Nairobi. I'm Navka Farida in Kampala.
Ni MTN Kabaddi Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabaddi Super easy.
It's now affordable. Cook your beans. Avoid smoke.
Sayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority. With the Fumba tariff, you can now buy up to 70 units of Yaka at a reduced price of 412 Uganda shillings per unit after consuming your first 80 units of the month. For more information, contact the Electricity Regulatory Authority on 0200 506 000.
It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say to register.
What's going on here? He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet, and only you, the owner, have access to it. Just dial *185 *10 # and now you are on. No waiting. Huh? this insanity is sweet. Give them also.
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy. Not mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show. Because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Welcome to those of you just joining us. My name is Kiijanangoma. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defence Forces, has delivered a lecture of opportunity to officers and men of the UPDF and the Internal Security Organization, ISO, who have been undergoing a course at Oliver Tambo School of Leadership, Kaweweta. The President delivered the opportune lecture to the officers at Kololo Independence Grounds in Kampala, where he told them that East African Federation will address the issue of strategic security. President Museveni said that in addition to economic integration, which addresses matters of prosperity, Africa and Uganda in particular should look at political integration to ensure strategic security. Discussing issues of an economic nature, General Museveni said that the purpose of development in society is to create prosperity for the people. He added that a society which is developed and is in a good situation is one which has managed to create prosperity. The President advised that one can achieve prosperity through working hard in order to get food and money. In order to ensure prosperity, the President said society must stop the primitive way of producing for the stomach only and instead produce both for the stomach and the pocket. The President explained the 4 sectors of wealth and jobs creation as commercial agriculture with a Kibalo calculation, industries, small or big factories, services like hotels, transport, civil service, and ICT.
The purpose of development in society is to create prosperity for the people. Because in this long journey of man, in the 4.5 million years, the struggle was to improve the quality of life of people. And the societies which are in a good situation are those which have managed to create prosperity for their people. We must adopt the post-ancient way We cannot get prosperity in the traditional way of primitive homestead self-sufficiency. We shall never get out of we shall never get prosperity. Prosperity means we specialize, produce for the stomach. For us, we are lucky, in Africa we are lucky, because we can do both. We can produce both for the stomach and for the pocket, because we happen to have land. But do so with a chivaro. Because what you saw at Kaumu is producing food, because you saw some food there, producing your
Meanwhile, President Yoweri Museveni has received a special message from the South Sudan President, His Excellency Salva Kiir, at State Lodge, Nakasero. The message was delivered to him by South Sudan's Special Envoy, who is also the country's Minister in charge of Presidential Affairs, Honorable Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin. President Museveni and the South Sudan Envoy discussed bilateral matters concerning the two countries. In his capacity as one of the guarantors to the South Sudan peace process, President Museveni has been invited to attend the graduation ceremony of the first batch of the Unified Forces slated for 30th August 2022 in Juba. Honorable Barnaba noted that this long-awaited graduation will mark a fulfillment of a critical milestone in the implementation of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan. The Special Envoy was accompanied by Honorable Joseph Losuba Wongo, the South Sudan Minister for Federal Affairs, among other dignitaries. Now, government with development partners have launched the Sustainable Energy Response Plan targeting Uganda's refugee and host communities. The three-year program seeks to curb over-reliance on the environmentally destructive biomass fuel in refugee settlements. We have more in this story.
Through the Sustainable Energy Response Plan, SUP 2022-2025, government targets to support the refugee and host communities to attain universal access to affordable, reliable and clean energy for social and economic transformation.
Much as the Environment Response Plan has good interventions for forest restoration, it is not sustainable. It is not, if we do not address alternative energy source for our people.
To effectively implement the program, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development will collaborate with the Office of the Prime Minister and development partners.
It's going to help us to reduce on that pressure by coming up with alternative cooking methods, the cooking stoves that save energy, so that we reduce on cutting down of trees. We are going to provide solar for lighting.
Energy is essential for starting any substantial production of goods, be it agricultural or others, in order to create income. And income is the first step to leading an independent life.
Uganda is commended for its role as the biggest refugee host country in Africa and one of the biggest in the world as well, with an estimated population of 1.5 million refugees.
It's not new to us that today Uganda is leading in CRF programs. Globally, we are leading in implementation of this program, comprehensive refugee response, because it is based on our basic understanding and treatment of refugees.
Though the need for more support is emphasized by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees for the country to continue providing humane living conditions for those fleeing conflict in the region.
Whilst the refugee numbers are increasing, resources for management of refugees have been dwindling over the years. The analogy I want to make with respect to this is, it's like going up an escalator that is coming down. You need so much energy to even remain at the same level. This is how I find the situation of refugee management in the country. That we're making so much effort with the support of government. The government is taking the lead and we are all supporting. Yet the escalator is coming down, funding is coming down. So much effort has to be made even to remain at the same level.
The huge refugee population in the northern and western regions of Uganda is blamed for environmental degradation, mainly attributed to over-reliance on biomass for cooking and other inefficient methods. Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
Parliamentary Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authority and State Enterprises, COSASE, has faulted government for disbanding the Board of Directors of Uganda Airlines without prior due diligence. This was during an engagement of COSASE and the officials from the Ministry of Works and Transport, led by General Katumba Wamala.
Katumba Wamala, the Minister for Works and Transport, has appeared before the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authority and State Enterprises over queries of staff structure at Uganda Airlines.
Yes, as I said, we have issues. Totally. I don't deny.
COSASE is investigating an Auditor General's report which questions a loss of over 500 billion at the national carrier.
We are very hopeful that as soon as Uganda Airlines breaks even, shares will be floated for Ugandans to buy share in the airline. So this is not a parastatal. It's not like URC. It's not like a Civil Aviation Authority.
Minister Katumba Wamala told COSASE, chaired by Nakawa West Member of Parliament Joel Senyonyi, that the controversial appointment of Jennifer Bamturachi as the CEO of Uganda Airlines was a directive from President Yoweri Museveni.
I think you read the letter which the President wrote, and it was loaded. It had all the reasons why you made the decision.
When there is a process which you know about, which you are telling the board follow due process, that you advise your appointing authority that, you know what, for us to be properly shielded, let this person be subjected to due process. Because if tomorrow that person goofs up, if it turns out that they're actually way below the required standard, then the appointing authority will be blamed, you will be blamed.
General Katumba has also directed Jennifer Bamturachi to avail her academic credentials to COSASE committee with immediate effect to calm the public query on the CEO of Uganda Airlines qualifications.
If the board was not sure of what was expected of it, then they would not have gone ahead to appoint Jennifer as the CEO. They would have come back to me. Given that they didn't, then they knew exactly what was expected of them.
The committee also held Minister Katumba Wamala guilty of disbanding the previous board at Uganda Airlines without prior due diligence.
It's part of what was part of the problem to the other board, the first board, that they had left board level and they were going into management roles. And so there was conflict between the board and management.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
If the route has Uganda Airlines.
Another short break and return with the latest in business. Don't go.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabaddi Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabaddi Super easy.
Children are a special gift, one we must protect and nurture with care.
Ensuring your child has a birth certificate opens doors for them that would otherwise be hard to access, such as immunization, school admission, or simply proving their age and belonging. Let us do our duty as parents and guardians by registering our children and getting them birth certificates. For more information, visit the NERA office closest to you or call the toll-free number 0800-211-700. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Princess! Is there a problem? Honey, relax. There'll be no more worries about SMSs, phone calls, sijui data, because daddy has got an Airtel smart plan. There is even Airtel TV. It means no worries.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans, shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay.
Happiness comes to us in many places. It's in knowing the mosquito net keeps our children healthy. The wife having the support of her husband. It's in deciding together when to have a baby. And for some, focusing on what's important right now. So what's your happiness? Make the right health decisions to ensure happiness for you and your family.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Let's have some news now pertaining to business. Vietnamese ambassador to Uganda, Nguyen Nam Tien, has promised Vietnam's contribution to Uganda's industrial sector. The Vietnamese ambassador, who was accompanied by a team from Vietnam, says they are going to earmark resources and also take part in industrial park development initiative. The team was meeting officials from the Uganda Investment Authority.
Vietnam has over 400 industrial parks.
A team of investors from Vietnam, led by the ambassador Nguyen Nam Tien, have met officials from Uganda Investment Authority, where they discussed the way forward on business collaborations. Ambassador Tien says Vietnam is ready to partner with Uganda in all aspects because of its stability and favorable business environment.
That not only potential investor from Vietnam can invest in Uganda, but vice versa, because the Uganda business can take opportunity to invest in Vietnam.
He says there is a lot to learn about Uganda, being one of those countries that are naturally endowed.
The idea of having a dedicated industrial park for either a specific sector or product or a multiple of products should be taken over, and it will be a ready product.
The Director General Uganda Investment Authority, Robert Muchiza, asserts that the authority will identify a suitable location for the construction of Vietnam's industrial park to be among the 25 targeted parks by 2025.
If Vietnam investors are ready to take up an industrial park and bring that experience here, can we collaborate with the investment authority there to have these companies also come and set up their Africa or global regional headquarters here?
He says Uganda has always welcomed Vietnam's business collaborations, especially on industrialization. Mukiza says Vietnam has got a stable economy whose collaborations with Uganda will be of great opportunity for business advancement.
Vietnamese investors coming here, Ugandans also going there. Sometimes we think that Ugandans cannot go and be investors in these other countries. If there are opportunities there, and investors, I believe, just look at the bottom line. Can they make profit?
Uganda Investment Authority is currently implementing the Cabinet Directive of setting up at least 25 industrial parks by 2025. Susan Naong and Andrew Sebira reporting for UBC TV.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using Kabaddi. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network. Leaders who care create a good learning environment. Because a good school equals a better life. Raising voices.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabaddi Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabaddi Super easy.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of sport. And hundreds of supporters of Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, especially from the informal sector, convened this evening at Owino Market in Kampala to witness the inauguration of Civil Cup tournament. Now, these were drawn from all corners of the city, including some from political parties.
In a move aimed at appreciating President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and Commander Land Forces Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba in Kampala markets, a football tournament under the codes of Civil Cup has been initiated.
Civil Cup is something that the market people have set up to thank the President for returning the market to them.
The tournament, to kick off on Friday 26 August 2022, has been launched at an event held at St. Kudembe Market, always referred to as Owino. Without drawing political lines, participants have been drawn from all political parties, with NUP supporters paying allegiance to the tournament.
Naba FBC tubayina NUP tubayina kubanga fe tuli ku mulimo gwa ggwanga okulaba nga abavubuka bava mu mirimo egitagasa bw'obanga tewasobola okusoma naye osobola okusamba omupiira bw'oba tewasoma osobola okuyimba bano abaana abadde bayimba wano suubira nti balina gye bagenza awala nnyo mu by'okusoma naye mbalaba balina talenti ate basobola okwebeezaawo.
St. Kudembe Market team is to be captained by the market chairperson, Susan Kushaba.
Mwenyini ku birthday ye abamu mujja kulaba t-shirt eziriko ekifaananyi kye nga zisoma vision bearer ow'ebyemizannyo ne talents z'abaana abayimbi. Ku birthday ye yasooka kye kyali ekirubiriro kye okulaba nga tumbula ebyemizannyo.
The event was graced by the Kampala Capital City Executive Director, Dorothy Chisaka.
Njagala kwebaza President Museveni. Ebintu bino bye tukola tubikola lwakubanga aleese emirembe mu Uganda yaffe. Tubikola kubanga ali strategic, is a visionary leader. Ebintu byakola biba bitegeerekeka.
In attendance was also Toyota Kaguta as the chief guest.
They asked the president, they wanted to play soccer, and they asked a gift, and the president promised a bus, then a coaster for ladies, No, it's about talents. We are organizing youth, get together, and we are trying to develop talent actually. My involvement is to develop talent.
However, there are still many unanswered questions, and one of it is how the tournament will successfully move on amidst the challenges of limited pitches.
I know we have enough. As Kampala capital city, we have 79 schools, so we are using the schools also, their pitches, so that we can use them for the Savio Cup.
The Savio Cup has attracted 18 teams from all government markets around Kampala, which includes Kireka, Busega, Kasubi, Owino, among others. The matches to be commenced on Friday this week. Both winners in the men and women category will take a brand new bus and coaster, respectively, as prize tags. I'm Robert Onyango and Sharon Chomugisha for UBC News.
Kabaddi Federation of Uganda is determined on capitalizing on gains made thus far post-COVID-19 pandemic to grow the sport further. Now this follows a successful national secondary schools Kabaddi championship that attracted 24 teams. Our sports reporter John Burns Sentamu gives us more.
The school has hosted the second edition of the National Secondary Schools Kabaddi Championship that attracted 24 teams. It was contested in both genders and climaxed with Noah's Ark winning the girls category after edging St. Peter's Kungu 28-25. In the boys category, Mulusa Academy, led by most valuable player Shafiq Katamba, outclassed St. Noah 42-28 to clinch their second title, having won the first edition in 2019. In the girls section, national team captain Olivia Nalubega of St. Peter's Kungu was the most valuable player. Kabaddi Federation of Uganda Secretary General Edgar Mojuni is impressed by what he saw over 4 days of action.
I was impressed by the performance of the kids, beside being affected by the long attended term of COVID-19. I was really impressed by the performance, and really the chains and the touch was really good and awesome.
Other schools at the championship included Springfield, Kolo High, Masindi Kitara Christian School and Matuga High School.
As a federation, we are working on the kids Kabaddi, which is going to start in primary schools. So I'm requesting all the primary school all primary schools in Uganda to come on board and also appreciate Kabaddi sport and allow Kabaddi sport to be played in the primary schools.
The top 4 teams at this championship automatically earned a berth at the first edition of the East Africa Secondary Schools Kabaddi Championship, to be hosted at the MTN Arena Lugogo between 14th and 16th December 2022.
Karnataka Sangha, which is an Indian affiliate, has partnered with Uganda Athletics Federation and organized a road run that will start and end at Katikati restaurant in Lugogo. The run is to be achieved in conjunction with the Indian High Commission and the Indian Association of Uganda.
More than 300 runners are expected to grace the first ever Karnataka Sangha sponsored run due September 11th at Katikati restaurant. Karnataka Sangha is an Indian enterprise that is intent on contributing to Uganda's development through projects like this road run, whose proceeds will go to rural school development.
This is not a commercial event. This is a charitable event. Whatever the benefit we get out of this marathon run is going purely for the development of rural schools.
To Uganda Athletics Federation, this latest partnership increases the scope from which talent can be identified.
It's good for us, and the more road races we have, the better for us. Then when there's prize money, some of the runners who will come and win also get the financial benefit of getting some cash.
The road run that one can enter at no fees and for which 12.5 million shillings is set aside for cash prizes will be in 3 categories. 3 kilometers for the wheelchair, 5 kilometers for kids, and 10 kilometers for adults.
The D-Star Foundation has finalized arrangements for this weekend's Jinja Open Table Tennis Championship. It will be hosted at Hotel Triangle with over 150 participants expected.
After a 2-year lull as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, the 3rd edition of the Jinja Open Table Tennis Championship is back and scheduled for this weekend.
choice of ginger is to have a view of the Nile as well and put a bit of sports tourism to it.
It's organized under the auspices of DSTA Foundation and with authority from Uganda Table Tennis Association, and will feature more than 150 players, some from regional countries.
Our intention is mainly to promote the sport of table tennis, to have fun, which is the basis of all sport, and to compete, because this is our first competition this year.
From Kenya, players like reigning champion Josea Wandera and Brian Mutuha are expected, while Japanese Sato Kukuse and Burundi's Treza Nzeimana are all ready for action.
We have singles mainly, but teams from Kenya, including Kiambu, we have Photogenics from here, we have Nakasero Table Tennis Club, Mbogo Table Tennis Club, and the DSTA Foundation itself, which has a club with top players, and Buyobo Table Tennis Club as well, another foundation in Mbale, and Mbale Tigers as well.
The local caster will include Sam Mbabazi, Kevin Mafavi, Jonathan Senyonga, Daniel Sechanzi, Amina Lukaya, and the duo of Jemima Nakawala and Pavin Nangonzi, who just returned from the Commonwealth Games. The Cash Laden Championship is powered by, among others, Crown Beverages, Optimus Events, Asiatic Sports, Olympic Lounge, and Premier Bet.
Story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. But before we leave you, let's have a recap of our top stories. In our top stories tonight, President Museveni eulogizes General Elly Tumwiine. Premier Nabanja unveils refugee energy program. Court convicts 2 over killing 6 lions in Queen Elizabeth National Park. And Luluwiri Fruit Wine Company closed as 17 succumbed to death. And that's it from us tonight. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night and see you tomorrow.
This weekend on UBC.
Hello beautiful people, once again it is Teens Crown in your TV here on UBC.
We also pledge to continue taking care of them in terms of welfare so that, you know, whenever they go back home, I'm sure they look much, much better than they left, isn't it?
Two, 1, 0.
The Parental Factor in Talent Identification Conference is here. Did you know that children are born with natural talents?
We identify the inborn talent of an individual, the natural born abilities, what a person is engineered naturally to be.
Verbatoria Uganda, an organization using numetria tests to identify inborn talents, in partnership with Anti-Jovita Children's Foundation, Sophos Consults, and Uganda Broadcasting Corporation are organizing a conference to share knowledge and information on how best to identify inborn talents, nurture and shine them in the children.
And we do this with the help of technology. We use a device called the PBCI. It is able to connect into the neural pathways of an individual. So we collect this data through brainwaves.
Don't miss the conference on August 27, 2022, Nile Hall, Africana Hotel at 10:30 a.m. at a fee of 50,000 shillings only. Come and learn more on how to handle your children.
Hello everyone, this is Powerful Ever Magazine for you, bringing you the latest that has been happening. I'm so happy to be here to bring you more entertainment on the show. I hope you just stick around, sit down, relax, sip something, enjoy something, and we bring you what you've been waiting for all week round. Welcome back to the show. On Friday, 5th August, Level Lounge and Restaurant held the climax of a whole week of responsible drinking awareness campaigns in traditional media and social media. NBL partnered with corporate league members to join the rest of the world in commemoration of the Global Beer Responsible Day and International Beer Day. Check it out and see what took place at the Beer Day right here in Uganda, in Kampala, and see how fun and beautiful it was for you.
Just to welcome you to the International Beer Day and to let you know that you are drinking the perfect drink.